2025 saw the end of the longest heavyweight championship reign in pro wrestling 225 history when Christian Blake knocked Vladimir Koloff off the top of the mountain at Destin Forever. Still hurts. A few months later, at Fright Night Faction Warfare, Vladimir Koloff made his shocking return to accept Suge White's challenge. And it was in this building in November when Suge White put Vladimir Koloff down.
Oh, Russian destruction is here in full force in Pro Wrestling 225. Let's hear it.
First time in a while, I'm in sacred ground. Steve Anthony and Houma are gone, but I'm the devil himself. Trust me.
Trust Vladimir Koloff. We are in Steve Anthony territory. Koloff's right. It is so incredibly difficult to beat the exclamation point in this city. Vladimir Koloff has a hell of a mountain to climb, but he has a hell of a chip on his shoulder. Will tonight be the night Vladimir Koloff rights the ship and sets course back to the Pro Wrestling 225 Heavyweight Championship?
That's got to be the question, Landon. How does Koloff respond? The last two times we saw him in a Pro Wrestling 225 ring, he lost the Heavyweight Championship, lost to Suge White. The road doesn't get any easier, facing one of the very best to do it in Louisiana in Steve Anthony. How does Koloff respond here at Pro Wrestling 225 Friday night?
You ready for this place to come unglued?
Houma loves Steve Anthony. The man whose name says it all, Landon. Mr. Action. Another marquee matchup for Steve Anthony in Pro Wrestling 225. Taking on Vladimir Koloff, and you have to imagine that one of these two men are trying to stake their claim towards the heavyweight championship, regardless of who has it after Friday night or after Super Bowl 10. Houma at Pro Wrestling 225 is Steve Anthony territory.
There's just something special about Steve Anthony in Pro Wrestling 225, and we're here on a Friday night. Let's get into it. This thing is gonna be heavy hitting. They call him Mr. Action for a reason.
That Vladimir Koloff has scouted Steve Anthony, has watched Steve Anthony matches, because he just sat on the top rope. He knew how long that introduction was going to be.
And hey, let's just, You just put the exclamation point on that introduction. Alexis Windsor, excellent job.
A first-time matchup, and for so many in pro wrestling 225, a dream matchup. Vladimir Koloff, Steve Anthony, one-on-one to kick off the year here in Pro Wrestling 225.
We want to thank you for watching Pro Wrestling 225 Unleashed. If you are not subscribed, make sure you do so right now so you don't miss action, just like this.
The early stages of this match, Landon, are going to be so interesting as these two guys try to measure each other up, and you see that fighting for wrist control early on here. Koloff backing Anthony up into the corner here.
Championship caliber athletes tying it up here in Pro Wrestling 225. You're absolutely right.
A clean break there from Vladimir Koloff. Got to tell you, a little surprised. It's still taking some time to get used to Koloff, this side of him.
Yeah, Vladimir Koloff turning over a new leaf here in Pro Wrestling 225. Certainly, I think that battle with Christian Blake very clearly had a huge effect on Koloff. And he's extremely grateful for his journey as heavyweight champion. And he's grateful for all the fans who have stayed behind him throughout his heavyweight championship reign and even after he lost that title. He has the Pro Wrestling 225 family firmly behind him, but so does Steve Anthony.
Needs some more hip action.
Well, he knows how to deliver. Here we go. Back to this collar and elbow tie-up. These two bulls. This is true heavyweight action.
Look at that. Veteran move there from Steve Anthony. Just when Koloff thought he was going to bob, he weaves, but now Koloff has the head scissors on.
Koloff has those head scissors on. He lifts his hips off of the mat there to apply a little bit of extra pressure. And Steve Anthony, look at the
incredible balance here.
Unbelievable.
Gets out of it, and now has control of Vladimir Koloff.
Right back to that side headlock.
Listen, we know this about Steve Anthony. He's flashy, right? But he's as tough as nails in that ring.
Hasn't lost a step.
As Koloff has control of that wrist right now, but Steve Anthony gets back to a vertical base.
Koloff wants that arm bar, found he wasn't going to get it, twist that arm back around, applying that with some torque. Steve Anthony forced to do that roll through, rolls back through. Wait a minute, look at that.
An athlete, Steve Anthony.
Unbelievable, takes the leg. Look at that takedown. Very impressive from Steve Anthony. He goes right to that front base lock. No, turns things around, but Anthony rolls right through that. Koloff couldn't maintain wrist control, and we are reset. Both men back in their feet.
Vladimir Koloff looking to prove how he responds to back-to-back losses, that he's as good as he was during his heavyweight championship reign. And Steve Anthony, more than happy to test his mettle.
Koloff very smart here, you notice, as he gets caught on the mat here, making sure one shoulder stays off of the mat while also using his core to push up to try and get Steve Anthony off of him. Both men back on their feet. A shot to the midsection here, trying to create that separation as Koloff pushes off Steve Anthony.
Ducks under. Quick as a whistle there. And I think even Koloff caught off guard just a little bit.
Trying to get his bearings here. First time matchup here in Pro Wrestling 225, and a hell of an opponent is Steve Anthony, regardless of your experience.
It needs more Anthony change from the Pro Wrestling 225 family, by the way. That's a nice ring, too, don't you think?
Too many syllables, if you ask me.
These guys reset here. Still trying to figure out how to get the upper hand on the other. Koloff looking for a test of strength here.
We know the body transformation we've seen Koloff under, and he looks in rare form even tonight. Best I've ever seen Koloff. This could be interesting here.
Two guys maybe at the best of their game right now.
No doubt.
certainly physically.
Or Steve Anthony's been down this road one too many times. But no, it's a clean test of strength here from Koloff, who had that other bingo card.
Who's going to get the upper hand? Koloff gets that leg. Will he be able to bend Anthony backwards?
Look at the power of Russian destruction.
But Anthony doesn't go down. The bridge there on the neck. And look at a battle back up.
Look at the strength of the exclamation point. Unbelievable. And Koloff, sensing the danger, monkey flips him over.
Here comes Anthony. Oh, and a hip toss there from Koloff.
Koloff with the upper hand here. And now
keeps control of that arm.
Very smart. If he can keep Anthony grounded, he's got no chance of being hit with that 450 splash. And you have to imagine the mental game. We talked about how important it was to get that mental advantage on your opponent in the early stages. Victory roll. Excuse me, sunset flip there. Shoulders were down.
You can tell Vladimir Koloff came in with a game plan, trying to keep Steve Anthony grounded. Obviously, Vladimir Koloff, one of the 4 Iron Men in Pro Wrestling 225, went an hour at Iron Sharpens Iron in 2024. So you know he can last as long as he thinks he needs to, and maybe that's the plan, the long game with Steve Anthony here tonight.
That's exactly right. Vladimir Koloff is not worried about getting a quick win. His conditioning will put it up against anybody else in the industry. Okay, we're keeping this pace
Shoulder
as slow
tackle.
as he needs to. Listen to the response from fans here.
Anthony leapfrogs, but Vladimir Koloff was right there waiting. Ducks under the clothesline. Here we go.
Oh, man.
Springboard there. Gets the shoulders down, but a kick out at 1. Steve Anthony really impressive out of nowhere.
When's the last time you saw a man that size move like that?
Listen, it's part of why Steve Anthony has been so good for so long.
And now, here we go, tit for tat. Anthony keeping Koloff grounded.
It's hard to say something like this with 2 accomplished men like we're seeing in front of us. But both of these men, I think, have a hunger to prove even more and accomplish even more in Pro Wrestling 225. Koloff charges back after Anthony, runs into a back elbow. And off the middle rope, the Hurricanrana sends Koloff across the ring.
Put an exclamation point on that. Anthony whips him in the corner. Gets up there. Huge monkey flip.
Koloff is reeling.
Steve Anthony is incredibly dangerous in there. But wait a minute. Koloff not falling for it a second time. Holds on, turns things around. But Steve Anthony had that right hand scouted. Oh, man. His spine right off the turnbuckle, and Vladimir Koloff capitalizes.
The Russian drop there from Koloff. Steve Anthony kicks out at 1, but is this a turning point in this matchup?
It very well could be. That damage is certainly we're gonna see the effects of that on the back of Steve Anthony moving forward. You can't go backwards after you take a move like that.
Well, and we've seen it before, and I think maybe this is some of what Koloff had sort of done his homework on. In his epic battles with Wardell Walker, it was Steve Anthony's back that gave him troubles. And so maybe the target there, whether intentional or not, certainly the advantage has to go to Koloff right now.
This is where experience can be a disadvantage. Pro wrestling is not ballet. Over the years, this sport wears on your body, and that's what Steve Anthony is doing right now on his back.
But Anthony is able to get back to his feet, throws a couple elbows, trying to get some distance from Koloff, off the ropes, ducks under the back elbow. Again, here comes Anthony, but a third time not able to do it. Koloff takes the exclamation point down. And here comes a big splash from Russian Destruction to pick up the win, a kick out at 1. It's going to take a lot to put Steve Anthony away. We've seen it time and time again. But Vladimir Koloff knows that. Again, he's in there for the long haul this time. He said, no one conquers a challenge when the lights are on bright like Vladimir Koloff, and he's looking to prove that tonight here at Friday night.
Well, I think a win is always important in the book of Vladimir Koloff. But you have to think about quality wins right now. Koloff coming off of 2 hard losses. A win over the caliber of somebody like Steve Anthony could be exactly what Koloff needs to get him on the right track in 2026.
And a strong whip there into the turnbuckle. Again, that target on the back of Steve Anthony. And we'll have to see just how much that plays into the rest of this matchup. Koloff clearly has his target focused, lasered in on Steve Anthony's lower back.
Oh,
Clubbing
man, just
blow.
like you were saying.
Off the ropes, and yeah, there we go, right back again to the spine.
It's certainly going to slow Anthony down, but do not count this man out. Oh, man, that was brutal.
Sometimes in professional wrestling, the decision's made for you. And if Vladimir Koloff keeps targeting the back of Steve Anthony, he may have no choice.
Koloff taking a little bit of time to show off the fans here.
Well, Koloff always a showman, not shocked there. But Steve Anthony able to get back to his feet. Koloff comes charging in, but Anthony gets his leg up. Look at that, kick to the back of the head from Anthony.
See the force on that.
And a forearm from Koloff.
Steve Anthony just came crashing down all the way from the top rope onto the apron. Even more damage being done. And you can actually see the discoloration on Steve Anthony's back.
Absolutely. Our official DJ Petrie checking on Steve Anthony. As Koloff might be having things going from bad to worse for Anthony, but Anthony able to get out of the way.
Spills to the outside, and oh my God!
The power bomb onto the ring apron.
And that is going to spell disaster for Mr. Action.
Our official may have to call this thing off. But Anthony back to his feet.
Koloff flips it down here to the outside. Russian destruction is fired up on a Friday night.
I haven't seen very many cannonballs to the outside like that.
How about that?
Koloff looking in rare form tonight. Trying to capitalize with the cover on Steve Anthony, but a kick out at 2.
Well, it's that resilience, you know, early on. The cover here, no, Steve Anthony gets that shoulder up again. Koloff just doggedly trying to keep Steve Anthony's shoulders down. But it's that resilience. Koloff does not get frustrated. We saw a couple of times in the early going, Steve Anthony was getting the upper hand, but Koloff fought through, found the escape, and now in a very great position.
It's what we learned a lot about Koloff in his heavyweight championship reign. He found ways to win, whether you liked it or not.
You liked it.
I don't think that's true. But something new from Koloff again tonight. And all the way across the ring.
A huge elbow.
Steve Anthony rolls out of the way.
And that may be the one moment of this matchup that we can look back on as the sole reason Steve Anthony survived Vladimir Koloff.
He's got to make the most of this moment right now. Anthony back to his feet. Koloff back to his feet. Buckle up. Clothesline.
Here comes Mr. Action.
And there's another.
Look at that.
Exploding off of the ropes there. Both men down again.
Burst of energy from Mr. Action. Steve Anthony back on his feet, quick as a hiccup.
him up. Scoop slam there to Koloff off the ropes.
Best in the biz.
And the elbow connects.
Koloff back on his feet fairly quickly, and that's very important. Trying to catch his breath, Steve Anthony not allowing that. Listen across again.
Ooh. Goes low, off the ropes, knee to the temple.
Oh, man.
And the neck across the knee and the cover on Koloff and a kick out at the last moment.
Koloff survives, but guaranteed he's going to be feeling the effects of that one.
Steve Anthony and Vladimir Koloff giving each other everything they got on a Friday night to kick off the year here. Feels like it's anybody's game. Steve Anthony looking to the Pro Wrestling 225 family for support here. Are we gonna see it? Perhaps time to put an exclamation point on Vladimir Koloff, but Koloff goes low. Looking for a fisherman suplex perhaps, but Anthony rolls out of it, turns things around, cover on Koloff for the win and a kick out again at the last second.
Man, and that took just a little bit of extra force for Koloff to kick out. You notice Anthony had the leg wrapped around Van.
And think about what it took out of Steve Anthony's back as well there, lifting the big man up and taking him down.
Uh-oh.
Is it time?
Steve Anthony smelling blood in the water. If he hits this, it's all over.
The king of the 450 climbing to a place where he is so comfortable.
Koloff sensing danger, digging deep to avoid the 450. Koloff going up top.
High risk, high reward. As Koloff looking to turn the tables on Anthony.
This could be huge.
Top.
Anthony trying to fight out of it. Oh. Got him up. No. Koloff lands on his feet.
Double axe handle caught by Koloff.
There's that fisherman brain buster.
And he crawls to a cover. Vladimir Koloff gonna pick up the one. Oh my God. The fisherman buster on Steve Anthony, and he still gets a shoulder up at 2.
We are still seeing new tools in the toolbox from Russian Destruction.
But the straps are coming down. Koloff means business, and it could be sickle time for Steve Anthony.
Time to go back to what brought you to the dance.
Steve Anthony, slow to his feet, doesn't know what's headed his way. Ducks under, and a kick, but Koloff catches it, and Anthony returns the favor, but an enziguri from Koloff.
This could be it right here. Anthony rolls through.
Sends him into the turnbuckle.
Huge cannonball. Russian Destruction explodes into Steve Anthony.
Vladimir Koloff to win here tonight.
Oh, by a hair.
Wait, was that 3?
I mean, at
Koloff
the
thinks he
last
won.
possible second, Steve Anthony with that ring awareness.
Koloff, I don't think knows. DJ Petrie informing him Steve Anthony's foot did find that bottom rope at the very last moment. It might be the only thing that stopped us from ringing the bell.
And now Koloff having some flashbacks.
Frustration Definitely showing we know how angry Vladimir Koloff can get. And with all the back issues Steve Anthony's had in this matchup, taking a cannonball, I don't know how he comes back from it.
Well, and we've seen Vladimir Koloff try to do this just a few minutes ago. If he can hit this superplex, with all the damage that's been done to the back of Steve Anthony, you have to imagine this will be the end. But Steve Anthony turns it around in midair.
Anthony, a hard landing as well on the canvas, but Vladimir Koloff sent for a ride. What a matchup.
I mean, how can you call it?
Who is going to take advantage?
Who's gonna stand up?
Both men have barely moved. DJ Petrie's up to 6. They've made contact now, so the count has stopped. Big forearm there from Koloff, and a slap from Steve Anthony.
These men can't stand to their feet. They don't need to stand on their feet to fight. Koloff is on his feet.
Trading blows. Who the hell will want to strike with Steve Anthony? Back and forth, Koloff and Anthony go.
Vladimir Koloff's a lot of things. He ain't a coward.
And forearms from Steve Anthony now. Rips Koloff across. Chases after him. Big clothesline in the corner. Koloff reverses it now. Anthony in the corner. And a big splash.
Steve Anthony chases.
Up and over. Lands on the apron. Ducks under. Gets that leg up. Knocked Koloff down. And uh-oh, here we go. Springboard moonsault.
Unbelievable.
Nobody home. And a drop kick. Sending Anthony all the way across the ring. And he's exactly where Koloff wants him. But Anthony gets up in time.
How quick was that?
A kick to the face. And Koloff going for a sickle.
Man, if he would have gotten that. Oh, dangerous territory here. Look at this. Ooh. Half Dragon snaps him over, and now Steve Anthony is in the corner. And oh, cannonball, but nobody home. Vladimir Koloff goes crashing into the bottom rope, gets folded up.
This thing is razor thin, the difference between these two men. Anthony goes up, looking for the exclamation point. Wait, oh! A destroyer into the exclamation point. Steve Anthony at Friday night picks up the win.
What a match! And what a bitter loss once again for Vladimir Koloff.
In what felt like a must-win situation to kick off the year here in 2026 to put yourself on the right path. Steve Anthony with the upper hand in such an evenly matched battle. And a huge, huge win by the exclamation point, proving why he is one of the absolute best to ever step in a pro wrestling 225 ring.
Wait a minute. Make no mistake, Vladimir Koloff put up one hell of a fight.
Mutual respect from Koloff and Steve Anthony. One hell of a fight. If you have this match 100 times, I'm still not convinced it might go 50-50.